Boys and girls, we've got a little bit of a quick one for you here. We've got Inakura versus Blood Rain, a little bit of IG versus Warlock Inquisitor. It's IG versus Warlock. You know what I'm saying. We've got Inquisitor versus Warlock, IG versus Eldar. That's what we're working with. It's from the old patch still. We're gonna have this one, and then we got one more upload, and then we're probably going to be moving on to the new patch. I want to do a let's play of that new survival game mode of Unpallias that your boy Newt made. But right now, we're going to see what happens in this patch. Nothing too unconventional here. The only thing we could say, I suppose, is that Blood Rain's opting to only get 2 default Guardians, not the triple Guardians. There's a lot of talk from different people on whether you go for the triple Guardians, whether you go for the double Guardians. Doesn't really matter. Now, triple Guardians obviously protects your early game a little bit more, because right now he's having to drop 2 gens and he's got nothing to defend it. But ultimately, Guardians in tier 1 don't really scale very well compared to things like Shurikens. So you want to get Shurikens out pretty fast. And going double Guardians helps you get that even faster. Swings and roundabouts. What is this skin? This looks pretty cool. Oh, I like this. Is this like Mordian? She looks sweet. Good shit. Drastia. Let me send them up. Not gonna lie though, I'm not really keen on women in uniform. There we go. So, nice little deployable cover usage from the Guardsmen over here. In spite of the fact that they only have 6 models, they are kicking the arse of the Guardians because the Guardians are in open cover. They do back off there though. Could have ended up losing a lot of models if a Destructor had hit that Guardsman squad when they were all blobbed up around the cover. Kind of odd that Rain didn't do that on the way over, but there you go, he didn't. We're actually going to see Rangers. I guess that's fine. He is against the Inquisitor, so she has the option to get the Infiltrating Armor. She isn't here though, she's actually going for Crossbow Bolt Pistol and the Rosarius. So turning her into a dedicated range commander pretty much. When she's got that and then she's in green cover, really hard to dislodge her. You're talking an effective 1220 HP in cover. Good luck. But hey, the Rangers will be able to do well against that because snipers ignore cover. Ooh, nice kinetic pulse there. To be honest, I don't really know what the Guardsmen are doing. You're going to tie up a Shuriken in melee with Guardsmen when there's Guardians nearby? That just doesn't seem really good because the Shuriken's still going to just take forever to force off, so the Guardsmen do good damage. The Guardsmen don't really go crazy. Anyway, this is a lot of pressure on the Sentinel. It's another thing the Rangers can do well. Pressure that Sen. Snipers get a little bit of a damage boost, I believe, against heavy infantry, which the Sentinel is. Shuriken has correctly repositioned. Blood Rain is, he's no slouch. He's hot on his micro. Spinning that Shuriken around like crazy. And I've still got Steam not an offline mode, so you've seen on my friends list. I know you guys love that shit. Huge DPS coming out from the Guardians plus Rangers here. This is tough, man. Warlock going around and capping on the bottom while this is happening. This is definitely economically favouring Innie. Because he's only losing Guardsmen, right? And there's Shuriken models bleeding, Guardians bleeding. No bleed from the Rangers yet, but they will bleed very soon, so they will opt to retreat instead. I like this. Minor misplay in that these 2 models are out of the shield, but it doesn't matter. Any moves in anyway. But it's all for naught because he can't actually get the cap. So way more important as the Eldar in this early game situation to focus on minimizing your bleed than to focus on trying to get VPs. You can make crazy comebacks with super heavy tier 2s as the Eldar against the Imperial Guard. Just Wraith Guard, Warp Spiders, shitloads of Shurikens, that alone can deal with the IG tier 3. And then tier 2 Guardians with their Warlock, they get the damage resistance to ranged attacks, and that makes Guardians super cost effective against Guardsmen. So all that combined, doesn't matter if you're behind loads going into tier 2, you can easily bring it back. Whereas, if you focus too much on being greedy and trying to get a VP lead, man, you can overextend, you can bleed like crazy, and you can delay your tier 2. And then if the IG gets a tier 2 too quickly before you, gets a Chimera out, or a Bane Wolf in the instance of the Inquisitor, gets a full gem bash, that can just be GG instantly. So, you gotta be careful. But obviously this is a very high level game, and Ian and Lorraine are both extremely experienced players, they know what they're doing. I'm very familiar with the matchup. One thing I will say about this game is that it's a very small table for both players compared to what I've used to in competitive games. I wonder if that's something that the map sort of forces out. It's quite a hard map to get gem bashes in because it's very open, and when the enemy is forced off, they only have like one option to come this direction, and then like they can easily rotate to the generator farm. It's not like a map where there's some sort of blocker near the base and they have to take 2 exits, and then if they exit the wrong way you can bash them on the other side. Warlock getting precariously low here. If there's a Hammer of the Witches, it's dead. No energy for the Hammer of the Witches, but it's not even necessary. The sheer amount of range DPS is sufficient there, so he gets a little snag on the Warlock. Now that's nice for any. Not like the Warlock was doing anything crazy in combat, but what the Warlock was doing was providing an extra capping unit down here, so every time the Sentinel goes over and decaps those corners now, it's going to be very awkward for Blood Rain to get that back. It's got a nice little enfilade set up here though, with the Guardians putting significant pressure on the single entities. The Guardsmen on this side suppressed, going to be forced off soon by the Rangers. There they go. Quite unlucky really that they just didn't have enough damage to force off the Inquisitor there and focus down the Sentinel. So when he gets that for now, and then he's going for the Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Seems to be the meta now. Just get Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Now obviously in 1v1 combat against Wraith Guard with no micro, Assault Kit Stormtroopers will just die instantly. But the thing is, Wraith Guard are really slow, way slower than Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Not to mention Wraith Guard are pretty short range, with a wind-up, whereas Assault Kit Stormtroopers are burst attackers, so with micro, you can dodge the Wraith Guard continuously and defeat them from long range. Now he's got the Chimera as well, he's gone for that tier 2 timing push, but the Wraith Guard are going to deter him from now. Actually knocked off about 2/5 of the HP on that Chimera. Stormtroopers are going to off-lane on the bottom. Taking that solo, probably not a bad idea. They'll do a lot of damage to that Warlock. Cloak of Shadows on the Warlock. Obvious choice. Cloak of Shadows, not only is it good because the infiltration can let you ambush those isolated Stormtroopers and kill them if you start getting melee, or even just like grenades from Guardians, Wraith Guard shots when they're capping. But when you use the Cloak of Shadows, it reduces the range damage that the Warlock himself receives and nearby troops. I think the reduction that the Warlock gets is actually better than 50%, not certain. But either way, it means the Warlock takes a lot less damage when he's charging into melee combat against ranged troops, so it's really an obvious choice against IG. You'd never go anything else. And these situations here are very scary for the IG. The amount of sheer burst damage that can come out, you can just wipe a Sentinel straight away, and that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Now, you know, you're kind of privy to it, but why would he expect that there? He only seen a Warlock going for the cap. You wouldn't you know, you wouldn't think, oh shit, there's going to be a Shuriken, double Guardians and Wraithguard, and there was no time to react. I mean, you know, you could think that, but you can't always think that, or every time you see a Warlock, you're going to be completely outmaneuvering yourself, you know, just to move all your army. Oh shit, there's a Warlock there, there could be an army there, you know what I mean? So a very powerful war gear and good showcase of it right there. Chimera's moving in, breaking some cover. Generally, you do want to do that. You want to break as much cover as possible. Generally, a map with no cover will favour IG. And because Innie keeps his Chimera moving, he's not taking any damage from the Wraithguard. Apologies to the alarm, guys. That'll shut up in a few seconds. Oh, Wraithlord's out. With a Bright Lance already, the Chimera's now got the rear arm facing it, but not for long. He's on it, but he needs to start moving quick. A little tickle from the Wraithguard, a couple of Bright Lances, the Chimera will drop. Do note that the Warlock actually fell over here from the Assault Kit Stormtroopers. Could be a grenade coming out on that side from either force, but there's not really anything going on here, so they should dodge it. Nice little frag grenade from the Stormtroopers. A nice special from the Warlock, leader of the Guardian Squad. Prevents any further bleed from coming down the AKST. And, oh my god, I didn't even realise, but Inakura is fucking tier 3 and has a Lima Rust. What the fuck, man? And I think the Wraithlord is out damaging the repairs from these guardsmen. Just. Like, this is close. Maybe 3 more swings? 1 more, and then another. And then, yeah, he gets it with the Bright Lance. Okay, cool. He got that. He's calling in Stormtroopers with the Global. They're going to get Melter Guns to try and snare the Wraithlord. And then when the tank comes out, with the snare from the Melter Guns, he's going to hope that he can wipe the Wraithlord. Inquisitor moving in to tie up the Wraithguard. Oh, unfortunately, oh, no. The Melter Stormtroopers do not get snared. Now he needs to use the whole fire command to make sure that his shots aren't wasted on infantry, particularly retreating infantry, and that he keeps firing at that Wraithlord. Use the whole fire. No, he's wasting shots here onto the Guardians. Oh my god! Fucking hell, the special attack from the Wraithlord just insta-gibs the Stormtrooper squad. That fucking special from the Wraithlord, man, is so strong. Warlock does fall, though. Now, the problem here for the Leman is that the Leman's basic battle cannon has horrendous DPS. It's like 17 DPS. It just reloads really, really slowly. But it looks like it's going to be fine with the hull-mounted last cannon. He's going to be able to finish off the Wraithlord. And that Bright Lance doesn't have the DPS to finish him. I mean, that bunker was not really necessary. And, yeah, I mean, have they changed the bunker to make it where you can't cancel it anymore? Because I'm noticing in a couple of casts now, people aren't cancelling their bunkers. Did they change that? Did they actually nerf my cheese? Oh man, it's a good job I don't play this game anymore. Anyway, the Leman gets out nice and safe, and now that... So, Innie has seen that there's been a Wraithlord on the field, which is destroyed. So, the chances are, Blood Rain is probably stuck in tier 2, so he's opted for the Plasma Executioner Leman Russ, which will do amazing damage to all the infantry because it does splash. Check this out. That's with 20% damage resistance to range attacks. Yeah. And these heavy infantry Wraithguard, yes, okay, they don't have as many models, but they are heavy infantry, and the damage type of this actually does extra damage to the heavy infantry, so this puts Blood Rain in a really tricky position. But he has Wraithguard against IG, so there is always a way when that's the case. He also has Webway Gates, he has Cloak of Shadows, he has tools. The problem that he has at the moment is that he doesn't have any Warp Spiders to snare the Leman Russ. So if Innie's good in his micro, he's just going to keep them moving, and, you know, that Bright Lance, just going to evade it. Wraithguard, not going to hit, because they don't hit moving targets very well. It's going to be difficult I would definitely prefer to be in Akira's situation here, even with the lack of power that he has. I mean, next thing I'd be getting Kasakin. Lead those Guardians. He's got Purgatus, that did cost him a lot of power, but you see its power right there. Look at that. Just, I don't know if all of you guys are aware, probably not all of you are, but the rings that come out of the Purgatus, you don't get Purgatus just for the stun. The AoE stun across the screen is amazing, but if you terminate the rings from Purgatus, when they're above enemy infantry, it will do 200 damage to every single model that is on the ring when you terminate it. And you obviously control when you terminate it. That's how it ended so quickly there. Inakura intentionally terminated it, and boom, 4 dead Guardians. But you can see the power of the Plasma Executioner here, bruising damage. And it'll do some pretty good DPS against Wraithlords. Now, usually you don't get the Plasma Executioner because it's short range, so it loses tank jewels. But against a melee walker, short range is less of a concern. Obviously, that says all in the name, right? Melee walker wants to walk up to you in melee. So you're not really bothered about short range. So this is actually a really good usage of a Plasma Executioner Lehman, which is something that you don't see very often in 1v1, to be honest. Oh, this is going to be painful. He actually kind of missed it there. As you can see, it was a little bit too far along. He needed it there. But wow, if he hit that Purgatus perfectly, they would have all just gone 200 HP gone from every single one of those infantry squads. Yikes. Bright Lance is kind of saving the day here, out DPSing the repairs, but overall a pretty good trade for any. I mean, he's not bleeding anything, right? He's taking damage on a Lehman, which is free to repair. He's taking damage on the Inquisitor. She just heals in base. The whole time, Assault Kit Stormtroopers are just going along these sides wherever the main army isn't and harassing. They've got the range, they've got the high burst damage. Oh, a bit poor from Blood Rain actually. He allows the Lehman Rust to outflank the Shuriken, and oh my god, the damage that that does is just terrifying. Actually getting out of the webway, yeah, don't do that, Blood Rain. Jesus, stay inside, man. Now the Bright Lance is great for chasing things down, but oh, that Purgatus. But the problem is it doesn't actually do very good DPS, so, you know, the actual damage from the Bright Lance will easily be outplayed by the Guardsman. Let's have a look. 20 armor-piercing DPS. Now, I'm not familiar with the armor-piercing damage type, but let's assume that has full damage against vehicles. Well, double Guardsman repair at 30 HP per second, 20 for the first, 10 for every subsequent one, so, yeah. Easily out-healing it. Now we've got Kasakin, you can get the Melagons. I mean, honestly, I was going to say it feels OTT, but no it doesn't, because there's double Wraithlords. I can't remember if Kasakin can always swap weapons. I think they can. I think they still can. Note that the Guardsmen are not really being used for combat, they're just used for camping and repairing, and for that reason Inni has only got the Sergeant, he hasn't got the Commissar. Oh, I was going to say a frag grenade down there would have been beautiful. We only see a crack grenade. And right now there's just not enough DPS to go through these Wraithlords. He needs his last cannon, but he's got it on the way already. Top side we see the Warlockers force off those AKST. The entire IG force is now getting inspired by the kills from the Kasakin, and that is going to be a dead Wraithlord. Frag grenade goes into the Bright Lance, that's dead. A Kasakin gonna wipe? Oh, that was a bit sloppy. That was sloppy, that didn't need to happen, but I don't know what... You know, it's not going to be a long time until another Kasakin squad comes out, so I think, honestly, Blood Rain is in a very tricky spot here. This Lehman is just going to get, yeah, it's going to get harder and harder to deal with as it starts to level up. At the end of the game there, it's level 3. It's just going to become quite ridiculous. Yeah, great game, good showcase of the Eldar vs IG matchup. Beautiful usage of a Plasma Executioner Lehman Russ. You like to see it because you don't get to see it very often. I know that was a bit of a short one for you guys there, but I hope you enjoyed it. Torpid out.